Good afternoon or good evening, sports fans. Welcome to another episode of JMJE Sports TV. I am your host, Jason Muller, and today we are going to be going through the Sweet 16. Now, this was a crazy Sweet 16. As you can see, the only hat that remains is my Seattle Supersonics hat, which that will always stay there. But, holy cow, was this weekend crazy. So, starting off, we had Oregon State versus the underdog Loyola. Oregon State beat Loyola. Now, Oregon State was a 12 seed and Loyola was an 8 seed. Now, Loyola, I'm surprised that they went this far. Now, I know that they're one of the teams that they're one of the teams that surprised me the most. Great that they got to the Sweet 16, but they fell short to Oregon State, 65-58. It was a great game. It was a good game to watch. I watched a couple minutes of it. I was at work most of the time, so I didn't watch all of it. Next we had Baylor versus Villanova. Baylor staying strong, beating Villanova 62-51. Next game we had was Oral Roberts versus Arkansas, and Arkansas took that one, giving Oral Roberts their final game of the season after a phenomenal run in this tournament, beating Ohio State in that first round, all the way back in that first round. Let's just take a look at Oral Roberts' run, because I believe that they had a very phenomenal run this tournament. Going all the way back to this first round. That first round with Oral Roberts. Now, that game was the first upset of the entire tournament. Oral Roberts was a 15 seed and they managed... I hate that piece of hair right there. Oral Roberts beat Ohio State 75-72. And wow. Like I said, I did not expect them to get this far. So, first round, they beat Ohio State, a number 2 seed, a team that I had going all the way to the Elite Eight, which is starting today. So, that messed up my bracket from the start. Now, moving on to their performance in the second round. They beat Florida, a number 7 seed, 81-78. And now here we are in the Sweet 16. They beat Arkansas. Oh, my bad. They got beat by Arkansas, number 3 seed, so therefore ending their run in this tournament. And as I said, a phenomenal run by this team. You know, I did not expect to see a 15 seed in the Sweet 16 at all. Now moving on to the next game is my team, Syracuse. They sadly lost to Houston 62-46. Now, for Syracuse, I did not expect much. I had them going into the second round and getting beat by West Virginia, and had West Virginia going to the Elite Eight. Now, they beat West Virginia in the process of this tournament run, which I think was amazing that they managed to beat West Virginia, a number 3 seed, by far one of the best teams I've seen all year. They managed to beat them and move on to the Sweet 16, but sadly lost to Houston. Now, I'm not upset. You know, I think Syracuse had an amazing season this year, and I'm looking forward to next year, seeing a lot of those guys come back, including Buddy Boeheim. He's confirmed that he will be staying this year in Syracuse, so I look forward to seeing what he can do his senior year of college. Now, the next day for the Sweet 16, you had Zaga beating Creighton 83-65. Which honestly, if you factor in all their wins this season, they are now a 29-0 team, which is an amazing feat in especially this year. You know, I like to say that Gonzaga's an overrated program, but this year they're the real shit. They surprised me this year, and I don't think that they're overrated. I think that they deserve every rating that they have, and I really hope that they win this tournament because it's a well-deserved win for this Gonzaga team. Next, we had USC versus Oregon. Now, this game was a little upsetting. You know, as an Oregon fan, it didn't feel good having my team out of the tournament like this. But, you know, hey, good game. Good game by Oregon. A great way to end the season. Getting into the Sweet 16. Looking forward to next year. Next game is Michigan versus Florida State. Michigan beat Florida State 76-58. This one I wasn't surprised. I have Michigan going to the Final Four. They're one of 3 remaining Final Four teams I have because Illinois got knocked out by Loyola. Now, the following game, UCLA versus Alabama. That was 88-78. UCLA, number 11 seed, beating the number 2 seed Alabama. Now, I had Bama going. I had UCLA losing to BYU. So I didn't even have any of these teams in my bracket. I didn't have I didn't have UCLA at all, and I had Alabama going to the Sweet 16 getting beat by Texas. So I didn't even have any of those teams really in my bracket except for Alabama. And Alabama lost to UCLA, but now UCLA being in this tournament, being in the Elite Eight, that means that there are 2 LA-based teams. I piled up 3. 2 LA-based teams in the Elite Eight, which is, I believe they said that nothing like this has ever happened before, which is very interesting to see. And we can have LA Final Four. Now, do I think that UCLA can beat Michigan? No. Do I think that USC can beat Zaga? No. But it's a possibility, especially with the way this tournament's been going. I don't put it past them, but I don't see it happening. But, you know, looking forward to the Elite Eight today. I haven't looked at any of the scores. Video will be up tomorrow about the Elite Eight for the first day of the Elite Eight. But just heading into the Elite Eight, we have on the South and Midwest side of the bracket, we have Oregon State versus number 12 Oregon State versus number 2 Houston, and number 3 Arkansas versus number 1 Baylor. In these games, I don't have that first game on my bracket at all. My Elite Eight matchup was Illinois versus West Virginia, and both those teams are out. So now we have Oregon State versus Houston. I want to say that Houston is going to win it for that side. Arkansas versus Baylor. I had Ohio State playing Baylor in the in the Elite Eight here, so I'm still going with Baylor because I have them moving on to the Final Four in my bracket. So I'm going to stick with Baylor for this one and hope for the best. On the 30th, we have USC versus Gonzaga. I'm going to play it safe, go with Zaga, but I'm not doubting that USC team, especially the way that this tournament's been going. Maybe I might be surprised, and maybe my bracket will finally get busted 100%. But I'm going to keep it safe, stick with Zaga, and we'll move on from there. UCLA versus Michigan. I have Michigan because, again, they were one of my teams that I had going into the Final Four initially, so we're going to stick with Michigan. Again, that UCLA team is a force to be reckoned with, and I'm doubting my pick for Michigan, just seeing the way this UCLA team plays. Hopefully, my bracket doesn't get busted and UCLA moves on to the Final Four, because that would kind of suck. But again, so my picks for this upcoming Elite Eight, we have Houston, Baylor, Gonzaga, and Michigan. Hopefully, those are the Final Four teams. I'm going to be really happy if those are. So, until our recap tomorrow, we're probably going to do a recap on Wednesday. Once all of the Elite Eight games are wrapped up, we're going to do one right before the Final Four. And for the Final Four, we're going to kind of get into that. And then after that, starting Thursday, we're probably going to have a video out. And we're going to have a little bit more remodeling done here. We're going to add in the hats from the MLB teams I follow, although I only have 2 and I follow 4. So we will be having starting doing some MLB coverage on this channel and in the upcoming weeks. So a lot more content coming your way. We will hope to see you guys soon. And again, this has been Jason Muller from JMJE Sports, and we'll see you in the next couple days with some more NCAA content and some more and some new MLB content. So stay tuned and have a good evening, sports fans.